Well, hi and welcome to my beautiful office. Today's subject is the Desview R6 field monitor. Now, I'm making this review because all the reviews that I watched didn't give me the information that I really wanted to know. What's it like out in the field under all different types of lighting conditions, and are there any quirks that we need to know about? But all there is out there is just talking about how bright the monitor is and the functionality of the monitor. So today we're going to talk about the 3 quirks that I found with this monitor. So actually showing you out in the field, first off the bat, turning it on. When I've watched all those reviews on YouTube, no one mentioned any problems about getting it started. So when I pulled this out the box, put the battery in, I got nothing. I tried all sorts of combinations with holding the button down for so many seconds, then double clicking, you name it, I tried it. It wouldn't start up. I started thinking it was a battery, so I made sure that I had fully charged batteries. This takes the Sony NP batteries, is that right? I think so. And the Canon batteries. None of them would work. And I'm thinking, okay, it's faulty. We'll send it straight back tomorrow. So it only turned up on my doorstep. And I'm thinking, I got to send it off and get a replacement. Then I had a bit of a light bulb moment. I thought, I'll give it to my wife. Don't tell her that, what I've been doing with it to try and get it going. I'll just simply give it to her and tell her that, see if you can get it going, because I can't. And she did. And what my mistake was, I didn't leave it long enough before I started pressing the button again, because this takes a lot of time to start up, which we'll look at with the Premiere Pro timer. You'll see just how long it takes to start up. But for now, this is what we do. We go hold the button down and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release and wait. Just have a look myself. Yeah, there you go. That is a huge delay before you can start to work and find out, with your subjects framed up and everything else is going okay. All right, so that's one quirk. Let's, before we move on to the other 2 quirks that this monitor has, let's go and have a look at my first reaction, my first response with having the monitor on the camera out in full sunlight for the first time use. Well, this is going to be about my first impressions of the monitor. Full sunlight directly onto it. You can see my reflective head in there, the skull, and probably a reflection off the camera. So there is a bit of reflection off this screen here, which I've tried to clean as best I can. I'll just mention the reflection that the camera was getting, so the Osmo action camera was picking up, was over exaggerated. It is nowhere near as much as that, but for some reason the cameras really made the reflection look far worse than it actually is. It's very minute, and because the monitor's so bright, you can hardly see the reflection. But anyway, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait for it to come on, which is always that big delay. Now I have everything on the monitor set to default settings. I haven't played with anything, so it's all go. That's so clear. Look at that, full sunlight on it. I can see my reflection in there, but I can see beyond that and see that everything's nicely composed there. Waveform monitor, everything. All right, let's shoot around the front. Well, we better turn this first. All right. That's right to go. Let's have a look at first impressions into the sun. I'm going to be looking into the sun. Oh wow, look at that, how clear that is. And I don't actually have to hold my hand up like this to see the monitor. Now normally to see eye detect, oh wow, this is what I bought this monitor for. Oh, so I could actually see myself. Alright, so have the monitor out normally and try and squint to see where the face detect is working. But I can see without my glasses, there's face detect when I put my hand up and all that. See, yeah, face detect coming on. Hopefully you can see that if I hold the camera right. Tries to find me, but eye detect, friggin' awesome. From a metre away, I can see that without glasses on. All right, 2 and a bit metres away now, I can't see it. We'll just do a quick little test with the full sun on the monitor, just to see what it's like on playback with what we've just done. Wow, look how clear that is. You're probably not going to see it as good as me, but that's just fantastic, isn't it? I can see everything quite clearly. Everything's looking really good. It is in default mode, so blowout on my skin isn't right. It's not exactly what the camera is seeing, but first impression, wow, that is amazing. So it's just fantastic to have a monitor that's so bright in full sunlight. Even with the sun really low and in my eyes, I can see what's happening on the monitor. Just helps out so much. Because yeah, all I've got is that tiny little 3 and a bit inch monitor at the side with all cables running across it. I can't see much. And as I said, you've got to squint to see where the face detect's got you. You've got to get up so close, even with glasses on, that the lens goes out of focus anyway. So now I just stand a metre or so away. Yep, eye detect's got me. Walk back. We're all good. All right, let's move on to the next subject, and that is 2 quirks that took me a little while to work out. So here they are. Right, so let's get set, turn the monitor on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a bit. There it goes. And there we are. So what I've found is that the brightness that's on the monitor, we can go down like that, but it wouldn't stay. It wouldn't go dark. I'd turn it down and then it'd go straight back to full brightness. So what I had to do was go into the menu, settings, colour, and because it was in automatic, it wouldn't let me bring the brightness down. But when we go back into close, so that takes us out of automatic, I could then adjust it down. Because I didn't need to be that bright. Most of the time I don't need that full amount. Because what it does, if you don't turn it down, you're going to have the battery run out really quickly on you. Even though I have the Sony big battery, the 9 whatever it is, and it runs them out real quick if you don't turn it down. And the same with the little Canon batteries, they don't last very long at all. Then I could see that there was a problem with the waveform monitor. It wasn't matching what I've got on the Canon R5C. And this Canon 5RC has amazing dynamic range. So I know, looking at that wasn't right. It was blowing out because in default mode, the brightness is right up. So when I mucked around turning it down, as you can see there, all of a sudden the waveform monitor goes down to almost close to where it should be. So I realised what I have to do is turn the brightness of the picture coming in down. That's what we're doing. Not that one, the backlit is for the actual monitor brightness so that you can see better. But the actual picture coming in has to be turned down as well. So all I did was match it up with what it was showing on the camera's waveform monitor. So I'm matching it up to 75. And we have to do that every time that we turn it on. Just make sure that they're both matched up properly. Then I know I'm okay. But I'm also noticing that the grass and everything some bright patches were blowing out, and that's not right. My camera monitor was telling me that no, everything's okay. So even seeing it in there, I knew something was wrong. Because I'd set the camera up properly, I knew that I was never going to have any problems with anything blowing out. It was strong light onto a lot of reflective surfaces, but again, I trust the R5C that nothing will be blowing out. So there's something wrong with the monitor. I started to think, okay, we need to put on a Canon LUT that's in our monitor. So I turned on log, but it didn't help with the blowout of the grass and other bits and pieces. So I thought, okay, I'm running in wide dynamic range mode, so that's what we'll do. We'll go into exposure, see if we can find high dynamic range mode, and there it is. So I've turned that on, and voila, we're not getting as much blowout. There's still a little bit, so it's still lying to me. I know that the camera have got any highlight blowouts, and it's fine. I've checked and double checked. So the monitor, we can't 100% trust it, but we've got it as close as possible. So there you go, there's two quirks that you have to make sure that you configure properly so that we can get a good understanding of our subject that we're filming, that everything is going to turn out hunky-dory. And now that I have them sorted out, I'm much more confident in what it's telling me. Understanding what's going on here with dynamic range and the waveform monitor, we now have something sorted out really well. Now I don't know why this monitor doesn't allow some of the camera's tools to show up from the R5C, like the waveform monitor. I'd much prefer to see it rather than it's one and then we have to muck around with the brightness to match them up. That's just the way they've configured this so that we utilise its tools and a lot less of the ones that are on the camera itself. I am enjoying having a monitor now that when I'm filming wildlife, I've got the confidence to know and understand that everything I have the camera set up to is working beautifully. All I have to concentrate on now is getting that critical focus and keeping my subject framed within the scene. This definitely makes it 100% better. So bright, so clear. Now with battery life, we definitely need to turn that monitor down. Batteries will drain pretty quickly, or a lot more than they should do. I'm using those Canon batteries. They don't last very long. With the newer ones that have a bit more milliamp hour life, you're getting about 60 minutes, a bit more. With my older Canon batteries, because they're old as well, they don't last very long. So for me, I don't like to use them. It's nice and light in the bag. Big Sony batteries, they do take up a little bit of weight in the backpack, but we need two at least for this monitor, because when I'm sitting waiting for my subject to come back from hunting, antechinus, especially here, the agile one, I'll have a reasonable idea when it's going to come back. So I'll just leave the camera running, ready for action, and I'll leave the monitor on as well. But to reserve battery life, if I'm thinking, well, it looks like it's not going to come back for a little bit longer, I'll turn the monitor off. We need to have that backup if we're going to go for a long time, long periods, constantly filming things, lots of action. We definitely need two of these batteries at least. So, my final thoughts, this monitor is helping me out, doing what it was supposed to do, and that's helped me to see better, being able to frame up my subject, getting a much better idea than relying on a tiny little monitor on the camera. It's so hard for me to see whether I'm getting critical focus that I use the actual viewfinder more than the other to really see, you know, zoom in, make sure I've got critical focus. But I don't need to touch the camera at all anymore. I'm looking on the field monitor, making sure everything's okay, then adjust the camera as I need to. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, and if you'd like to subscribe and get more of this amazing stuff, click on my pretty little face just down in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Hit the little bell, you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you liked this video, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. It really does make a huge difference. So if you liked it and you would like to, that would be awesome. All right, if you'd like to go and have a look at all the other mad and crazy things I've been doing in the past, click on my icon right here at the end of this video. Take it to my channel. I talk about photographing and filming in the forest environment and open forest environment, birds in flight. When I go on adventures, I always take you with me. And when I buy camera equipment and cameras, I do reviews on them and give you my honest opinion on them. So go and have a browse. It'll be something you're of interest to, I am sure. Now, always remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing and filming wildlife, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.